Good day to all. In today's episode we will talk about view options. This topic is quite extensive. I hope I will not complicate it very much. So let's begin. We go to menu, view options. First item is on ship. This will customize the display of our ship on the screen. So it can be simplified simple, or it can be outline so that you can see the direction of the ship, or outline of the ship, so we can switch on, switch off heading and beam line. These items I will tick on and tick off in different combinations. You can watch it and take note how it is displayed. I will avoid too much commenting because you can see it clearly on display. And I suggest strongly to try it with your own hands when you have opportunity. And same, you can pause the video and see what changes. Next item, on track. This is the line that you can see here, this orange. This depicts the ship's past positions in continuous line. You can customize the color, also track period. The maximum is 24 hours, so after one full day, this line will disappear. Time label is this number: 25, 20, 14, 20, 10. Also, you can put the interval. At the moment it is 5 minutes, every 5 minutes. And past position, these are just dots behind the ship. I think you can use either past track or past position, what is more convenient for you. Using them together I think is not a prudent way to do it. So past position up to 1 mile. The next item is route. So for this one we need to load our route. Voyage calculation. This paints voyage information, calculation, route monitoring. We will talk about this windows during route monitoring video. At the moment I just want to show that this box, daytime for monitoring, can be changed to UTC or local time. For example, local, you can see it changed to local. Next, you can display ETA or don't display. You can see it now here. Now we have ETA to this waypoint in UTC. Cross-track distance limit line. These are a green and red line, port and starboard of the heading line. It can be used either in ILA A or B mode. Basically, it just changes the color of this line, cross-track lines. You can see now green and red, and they can be swapped. Show waypoint name. This is waypoint name, Chesapeake Bay entrance. Now it disappeared. Also, we can use different font for this waypoint name. It can be standard or small. At the moment it is small. And also we can customize the color of, for example, we are doing passage planning at the same time. So we want to see the difference between this route and our planning route, and this planning route can be either blue or orange. Next is user chart. User chart is just overlay on official ENC chart. This is just an additional information input by the user, by navigational officer who makes the passage planning. And if you don't need some items, you can remove them. We use all of them. We switch on all of them. Press mark line. This practice on your own. This MSI navtex quite useful when there is too much information, MSI information. It creates some clutter on the screen. You cannot see properly the real dangers. So you can switch it off for some time, so you have clear view of the way. Radar is clear. Radar overlay, you've seen it already. You can switch it on or off. Same. There is icon here, and opacity of this overlay. Target. You can disable some of the targets, AAS targets, and you can change what is displayed. If you want to see the name or number, or if you don't want to see it. Same for radar, target tracking, and AAS. Target track is not used. Chart common, I already opened it in a previous video. Now we can talk about it more in detail. So chart common, page 1, area boundary. You can see here this area boundary, or this one. You can make it plain, so there will be only line, no fill. I suppose this is more convenient to avoid clutter and missing of some important dangers. One more thing, you can see here this paper chart simplified. These objects, chart symbols, can be displayed either in paper chart view or just simplified as a symbol. You can see here the symbol, and this is paper chart symbol. Next is full light lines. Some lines from the landmarks are shown like this, just a small line. But if you want to see it further away to the sea, you can switch on this full light lines with sticks, and you can see now these lines became bigger. Another option is scale minimum, also very important. I prefer to switch it off, so you always have all information that is available on the chart. It will always be displayed, it will not disappear. I hope these screenshots will be clear how it works. So the whole idea of this scale minimum, if we have small scale chart, some information will be rejected and will not be displayed to avoid clutter. So you may not see some, for example, in this case you will not see these depths, and it depends on the scale you are using. So when you come back to normal scale, 20,000, all this data will be displayed. So and one more thing I want to mention, that all objects like depths, buoys, some land objects, they all have scale minimum. This command is allocated to every object on the ECDIS chart. So when you activate in this option, it will be used, and when you in some small scale chart, I mean in small scale but with large scale on the chart, you will not see some of the information on the screen. So I prefer to switch it off. So chart common, we go to next, page 2. This is one of the most important features on ECDIS, because it will affect the areas on the chart where you can go or you cannot go, or in other words, your no-go areas. Before going to the next screenshots, I want to show you one little article I prepared especially for this purpose, especially for this feature. This topic is quite tricky and very easy to misinterpret, and I've tried to break it down as simple as possible so you can see it on the screen. I suggest to use only these two items highlighted in red. I will explain why. For example, shallow contour 9 meters, this is light blue. If 4 shades are disabled, then shallow contour is not activated, so it may not be used at all. So this item will be required only if this 4 shades is activated. But we don't activate it to avoid clutter and to distinctly see shallow water or no-go area, which is highlighted by blue color. It is highly recommended to disable 4 shades. So in some of the next screenshots I will show you what 4 colors we have. Next is safety depth, green. Safety depth does not generate any alarms and there is no specific requirement for it. It can be used to highlight the spot depth values of particular interest to a mariner. For example, it can be set to a value bigger than safety contour to see when approaching shallow area, and special care should be taken to keep clear of no-go areas or dangers. When safety depth is set to 16 meters, all spot depths shallower than 16 meters will be displayed in bold characters. Spot depth means the depths written on the chart. For example, 16 meters. And if the depth is less than value input here, it will be dark black or bold character. So safety contour is number one setting. Safety contour shall be calculated for every leg of the voyage. And it shall take into account vessel draft, dynamic squat, various additional factors that can be assessed by beach team, plus 10% safety margin of all other sinkage factors, and minus tide. When nautical charts is compiled by cartographer, only limited number of depth contours are made, for example 10-20 meters. So when ECDIS user inputs 14.63, the greater depth contour will be used, for example 20 meters, if we have 10 and 20. And space within 20 meters depth contour will be blue, and hence marked as dangerous or no-go area. As a solution, we can set safety contour to 10 meters and then mark all dangers with no-go areas using user map, alarm detection area. In this way, when using look ahead function, it will generate alarm when approaching safety contour, blue area, and or alarm detection area. And last setting, deep contour, is used when we have 4 shades. If this tick is not present here, these two, shallow and deep contour, will not be displayed. Deep contour, if four shades are disabled, then deep contour is not activated, so it may not be used at all. So we go down. This is some small form that I created to calculate safety contour for sea and for berths. And to support this information that I've just told, I made some screenshots. I hope they will clarify questions if you still have them. So during passage planning, the peak report tool can be used to assess the depth contour available and then decision to be made which one to use during passage. For example, we're passing in this fairway. We make right click on the mouse, and now we have peak report, and we can see the different depth areas for this point. So at the moment on this screenshot we have two ranges, 10 meters and 20 meters. This means this is 10 meters, this line, and this 20 meters. So if the safety contour is set to any value within 10 and 20 meters, the next higher depth contour of 20 meters will be selected by ECDIS, and all area inside 20 meters will be blue. So everything between 20 meters and 10 meters will be blue, including what is less than 10 meters. In this case, 10 meters safety contour was selected and input. This is 10 meters. So now everything became black. all of this area became black. This way allows using look ahead tool so that alarm would be generated when approaching any danger area and officer of the watch will be notified. It is also required that no-go areas to be carefully examined if they are applicable to the current condition before the voyage begins and during passage planning. So officer of the watch and officer preparing the passage plan should be carefully and continuously checking the route if all depths are safe to go, because conditions can change, draft can change during ballasting, deballasting, in different ETA can change, and tide during different time can be different, so this safety contour can be changing continuously. Since we put safety contour to 10 meters, we highlighted this area as no-go using user map. This area is highlighted now with alarm detection. In this screenshot, the shallow water was marked with alarm detection area, highlighting the no-go area. Be extra careful to select correct display scale. This is display scale. Otherwise, it may become invisible in some display configuration. Display scale shall be carefully assessed for every plotted object, keeping in mind the scale of chart in use. So always, when you make markings with user map, always check the display scale. And you can see that our route has been plotted just outside of this area. Safety depth was calculated using the table that I showed previously. And in this case we put 14.63 rounded up to 15. So as it is shown on the chart, we cannot go to this area because all of this area is blue, and this basically means that this is no-go area. And if we are using the look ahead tool, the alarm will be continuously generated as long as we locate it in this area. So this creates some confusion, and it is not really convenient to use. So every bridge team should be aware of it and take some actions so that there is no risk of grounding. Again, in this case, safety contour was set not to the least available depth contour, but to ship's actual safety draft. So as a consequence, ECDIS selects the next available depth contour of 20 meters, which is actually safe, most of this area. And all area within 20 meter contour is highlighted in blue, and courses passing through these areas are highlighted with red. This is red, highlighting that this is danger. When the ship crosses those areas, the alarm will be generated, so look ahead tool renders to be of no use and will not be used. This approach can be more practical for ports or areas with high tidal ranges and where frequent changes in tide and ETA don't allow plotting of all no-go areas in ample time. I just want to highlight that all the information I have mentioned just now, you can watch it as many times as you need. You can pause the video, read it, so that you can understand my points. And now I continue on ECDIS. Maybe some things I will mention second time. Maybe this will help to understand it more clearly. Now I switch on the 4 shades. Now you can see there are more colors. I will move it to some other place, you can see it more clearly. At the moment I can see 3 colors: white, light blue and blue. And shallow pattern, if we switch on, just notice this area. If we switch on shallow pattern, it will be hatched with lines. And shallow water dangers are these crosses, purple crosses. If you want to see, for example, this is ship's wreck or a very small depths, you can disable it. But if you want to know only that you cannot go there, you just switch on this shallow water dangers and it will be marked only with crosses. Now you can see if we switch off 4 shades, this blue, lighter blue and light blue. Now it just became white and blue. Blue means safety contour. Everything below 10 meters will be blue. And all other areas are safe to go and marked with white. I suppose this is the most convenient and clear for everybody, for every bridge team member, and this is preferred to use because you just know that blue areas are no-go areas and you just don't go there. And also the alarm system of the ECDIS is designed in such a way to use this as no-go area. And by the way, this is green, means that this is dry inland. Shallow pattern. Now you can see the difference when we tick off this mark, shallow water dangers. For example, this 5, 7. Another thing I want to mention, the user chart marking. For example, we make no-go area, so we press here user chart, we select here area. I always use alarm detection because this is no-go area. It should be alarm, not warning. And I use orange color and gray fill. This combination is the most practical for day and night modes. This combination is properly visible in night and day mode. So I now put here no-go area, line color orange, fill color gray, 75%, and these two options should be carefully selected. I strongly recommend to use here always 1-to-1, always, and minimum scale, same as command that I mentioned before. Depending on the scale, this object can disappear. I suggest not to use very small number. One of the most popular for me is 1 million, 1 to 1 million. But in some in coastal areas, you may decrease it a little bit. So now I put 15,000. It is still here, but it is not visible because we have scale 40,000. And now I put maximum scale 1 to 15,000, and you can see how it works. So when you zoom in to some large scale, it will disappear. It is required, for example, in the case when you approach in some port, you want to see some notice when you are approaching it, but when you're already inside in some fairway, you want to make it invisible. So when you're approaching some area, you zoom in, and at some zoom scale it will disappear. Again, you see here 20,000, and here I put 15,000 maximum scale. So we zoom in, still visible, zoom in more, and it is invisible. Here I just want to show how to use peak report for passage planning. You just press on any area that you are passing, and you will see here depth areas that you can study and decide where to put the course. So now we go to chart display. This is view options. Quite simple. Chart type, load auto, text size. Read out and displayed chart objects means when you make peak report and some object is not displayed, but you want to know that if you on this place and make peak report, that it will be showed in peak report. So not too much thinking, better to put it always on, and don't worry about this setting. So now we go to next page of chart display. Next. Here you can customize the objects displayed on the chart. It is connected to this section on the screen: base, standard, all, and custom. At the moment we are in custom, and this means that if custom is selected here, only those items will be displayed on the screen which are customized here. So much easier to use it in groups. So now we go to the next page, last one. These items you should be aware of, that you can use them, and that if you use all, these items are not displayed. So if you want to have this displayed, it is not enough to press this button. You need to go to view options, chart display, and switch them on. And next topic is AIO and TNP, temporary and preliminary notices. So every week we receive updates, and including TNP, and TNP is included in AIO, Admiralty Information Overlay. So TNP notices in electronic charts are located inside separate overlay, and it is called Admiralty Information Overlay, and usually it is received a separate update file for ECDIS station. So this information can be also very cluttering and obstructing the view, so from time to time it is good to switch it on and switch it off. For example, during changeover the watch, better to switch it on and know which notices applicable to for the next watch. Here you can see whole area is covered with red, impossible to see anything. This area is TNP 2682, right whale, quite big. Now we switched it off. Now we can easily see the chart. Next item is graphical indication. Quite useful when you approach the port, so you know what to switch off if it is obstructing your view. Now you can see how much clutter you have on the screen. So the first one is crossing safety contour. So at the moment this blue area is our safety contour, or in other words no-go area, so it is highlighted in red. I will put it back for some time. Now switched off. So in some cases you may require it, you need to know where it is. Navigational hazards mean some spot dangers that you have between your cross tracks. We remove it. Prohibited areas are highlighted in yellow. You can see this line is going here. We switch it off, and now no information is displayed. We switch on everything back. Next item is tools. Quite simple, range rings, same as on radar, EBL VRM. You have also physical knobs on your keyboard, parallel index. There are many parallel indexes here, and node fixed EBL VRM. This may be required when you need to go to some fixed point on the chart. I will try to explain. Sorry, this was range rings. And this is node fixed. So this point will always be here, and bearing and distance will be changing depending on your ship's position. So we are coming close to the end. Next is unit. Self-explanatory, you can read it and change it depending on what you need. Control, you can see here. If you need this panel displayed, or you can disable it if you tick off this item. You can see it here. Just notice this area. You cannot change the area of this panel. So here we have 3 tabs: position, discrepancy, depth and current. So in this tab we have 2 GPSs which are compared together, and if we have HDOP very high, we will get the alarm here. So you can set up the HDOP in settings. So depth, if you have the sensor forward and aft, you can select. At the moment it is forward, and set and drift. Tool tips: mouse over information. For example, if you hover on some object on the screen, you will get some tips on how to use it or description of this item. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. I hope it was not so much boring. See you next time. Bye bye.